smoke is quieting down. Seems like we've got to a lot of the smoke. Dub, you got smoke?
So in episode 766 of the Joe Budden Podcast, Joe Budden found himself in a heated exchange with his co-host after they attempted to correct him and push him toward apologizing for his comments about DDG. Emanny in particular seemed uncomfortable with Joe's words, feeling that Joe had spoken disparagingly about DDG. Emanny's frustration stemmed from Joe's implication that DDG was in the wrong for clapping back at Joe's comments. Emanny even took it a step further, boldly telling Joe that he had made a mistake. Look at the files.
Like he
Don't correct the op
I'm so
name.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Y'all niggas win war. Don't correct no op name.
I'm sorry.
When I'm making a
Listen,
joke.
I'm so sorry.
You make
Sometimes
friends.
I
We
don't
come here to make enemies.
Listen. Sometimes I don't know who the op is.
Nigga, you do.
That's you.
Sometimes y'all have to let me know who the op is.
Yo, how y'all think this was built?
Y'all niggas leaving him on the hill by
How y'all
himself.
think this was built?
Y'all
By
niggas-
making friends
No.
or making enemies?
I agree with you.
The fuck is they talking about?
Y'all
Make
leaving-
friends outside, nigga.
Y'all leaving Joe on the hill by himself, son.
And I'm fine
Yo.
with it. I'm fine with it.
He had the tip of that shit.
I'm fine.
Yo,
When I asked who he was, all y'all had to do, I told Ag, all you had to do was say that's one of my sons.
this nigga.
I can't.
Joe, you can't start and disparage someone and then make it seem like they were wrong for responding back to you.
Who said that he was wrong at one point? I never, don't put words in my mouth.
Okay.
Hey, give me an ISO, nigga, move. You too timid for me right now. Move. I live for shit like this.
We know.
Before Ack had that
You know.
talk with me, I had it written up. I was coming here to have some fun. And he seemed like somebody to have fun with pause.
Acknowledge your mistake.
Yeah,
I didn't make a mistake.
You did.
Yes.
What mistake I made?
You spoke on a person's relevancy outside of what you might have known.
Everything I said.
That guy was.
Everything you
That
said.
guy is relevant in the space that he's relevant in, just like you're relevant in the space that you're in.
Okay, speak for you.
I am.
I don't feel like I need to apologize about a motherfucking thing that I said. And I'm here to triple down in some of the stuff I said. But he's a young kid, and I do like him a little bit after I researched, and I see some similarities in us. So I'm going to give him mercy because I could squash him like a fucking black-eyed pea in my hand if I fucking felt like it. You know who the fuck you talking to?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
All right,
You're on
then act
bullshit.
like it.
That's bullshit.
Sometimes I be on bullshit.
Acknowledge
That's
it.
That's
And we
it.
just said
Just own
acknowledge
it.
your bullshit.
Sometimes I be on bullshit. Now
Yeah.
what? Move. If you ain't with the bullshit, go to the treehouse, nigga. I'll hit you when I get back to home base.
Said you the nigga
Oh,
that
y'all
don't.
scared of him.
No, this nigga said, yo.
Here you go.
The nigga said,
Long ago, I made the life choice. Be cool with people.
Or
Or pod and take the things that come with.
Pardon.
I took the red pill.
You
I don't care. And that's what DDG needs to know. Some people, when you get my age,
So in true Joe Budden fashion, you know he wasn't having that. Joe made it clear that he didn't appreciate being told what to say or do, especially by his own team. He reminded them that each person on the podcast should speak for themselves. When it came to DDG, Joe made it crystal clear that he wasn't concerned about any potential fallout, even going so far as to say he could squash DDG like a black-eyed pea. This comment was definitely a shot at DDG and suggesting that DDG was far beneath Joe in terms of industry clout. It was a message to back off before things get escalated. Now, it's easy to imagine that DDG might carry a bit of a grudge after being publicly publicly slighted like that. But the situation wasn't all that bad for him. When Joe brought up academics, Emanny saw it as an opportunity to tell Joe he made a mistake in how he handled the situation. However, Joe quickly clapped back, reminding Emanny in the audience of how the Joe Budden network came to be. Joe explained that his success grew from his decision to stop being friends with people in the entertainment industry and instead report things the way he sees fit. You feel me? He took that red pill. He ain't playing. He's unfiltered, unafraid, and unapologetic. This formula has worked for him, and while it may stir up drama, that's precisely what people expect from Joe. One of the main points of tension between Joe and Emanny during the exchange was Emanny suggesting that DDG is equally relevant to Joe. But as Joe sees it, and many might agree, DDG and Joe are simply in different lanes. Just because people may be siding with DDG doesn't mean he's on the same level as Joe in the podcasting or entertainment space. Ironically, Joe even bringing DDG into the conversation probably helped DDG more than it hurt him. Initially, he was under fire for his breakup with Halle Bailey, with fans telling him to win her back. And, you know what I'm saying? Joe's jokes and comments, even though it was controversial, shifted the conversation away from, homie's personal life and made people rethink their stance on him. You know what I'm saying? Despite Joe's backhanded compliments, like admitting he sees similarities between himself and DDG in terms of fighting through the adversity, he also made it clear he wouldn't have entertained the situation at all if academics had warned him that DDG was his son. Now, but Joe's comment about being able to squash him like a black-eyed pea, that's wild. Right? It's a reminder of who Joe is and why he's not worried about what people think. Joe lives by his own rules, and in his mind, being honest, even if it gets him backlash, is more important than filtering his thoughts to avoid controversy. Now, Emanny's attempt to get Joe to watch what he says shows that perhaps Emanny isn't fully grasping the essence of what makes the Joe Budden podcast what it is. Now, Joe's audience doesn't tune in to hear carefully worded, neutral takes. We want raw, unfiltered honesty, and that's exactly what Joe delivers. Sure, there's a balance. Joe has mentioned before that he often spends time, pre-pod and figuring out how to phrase things in a way that's entertaining, but also something he can backtrack from if necessary. But at the end of the day, Joe's unapologetic approach is why people keep listening. Now, what do you think? Is Emanny, right to suggest that Joe made a mistake in how he handled DDG? Or is Joe's formula for speaking his truth exactly what makes, his platform thrive? You feel me? Now, I don't think Joe was wrong at all. You know what I'm saying? But I think Emanny may be missing the point. What do you guys think? Is Emanny missing the point of what makes the Joe Budden podcast successful by pushing Joe to apologize? Or should Joe be more cautious about how he speaks on other entertainers? You know what I'm saying? Or is his unfiltered approach the reason people love him? This New York weather kicking my butt. But we'll be back with the files.
My guy Dub too, that's my man though.
Gang gang.
That's my man, Big Dub.